Welcome to the immigration episode.
Book Club Americanah.
Wait, we need the cookies.
No, we ate all the M&Ms, now we're high.
Yeah, there's an M&M.
How?
What?
I don't know. It's on the ground.
Okay.
It's the one that got away.
The one that got away.
Is that a song? It is a song.
Yeah.
It is, yeah.
I forgot the words, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
I'll play
It's
it.
Katy Perry.
Play it. Put it on.
I don't, wait,
So-
no copyright, guys. I don't think we can.
No, it's fine. We just like bleeped out or whatever.
We were talking over it, so. Yeah.
I don't remember the tune.
So, immigration.
Greta. Oh yeah. I'm sorry.
I felt like she immigrated for the wrong reasons.
Oh yeah.
Yes, she did. She literally goes and does things with people. Like, Obinze had the most like poignant experiences with like immigration, like with him getting.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I remember it now.
Anyway.
Obinze has the most like poignant experiences with immigration because he's like running from the law.
And then
Basically.
he like has gonna have like a fake marriage and whatever.
Yeah,
Right,
but
but I admire how
fun.
dedicated he was to wanting but at the same time,
Yeah, he was dedicated up until a point, especially with Kosi. Like,
Oh yeah.
he was dedicated for that fake marriage, but he was like even less dedicated to his
he
like
was
actual wife
dedicated
and
to
child.
something he really wanted.
He's
Yeah.
he's a very like dedicated to get myself further in life. He doesn't think he is, but he's very much so a social climber.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
she's a
oh,
social.
yeah.
She's not a social climber. I'd say she's a person who uses her status in
Yes.
life
Yeah.
to gain things or see herself in
And
a
that's
better
a
light.
cultural thing for
Yeah,
sure.
I feel like he's more of a person who will like do the dirty work to climb to make himself better, but it's in a bad way. Like the American dream of getting yourself from one point to another.
Right.
He uses that, but in a kind of bad way where he stops caring about the stuff that happens. Like he will take bad things. Like he was gonna get that illegal marriage, even though he didn't love that woman. He was paying bad things just so he could get to this image he had, this dream
Yeah.
image he has
Convinced
of
himself
living.
that he
Because
had
the-
a thing
develop.
for that woman too.
That was hard to. It was
That
hard for me
was,
to read
yeah.
all that point because you can so clearly see how much he loves Ifamalu still, but he's just having sex with random women
Yeah.
and like saying, "I love this girl. I could love her." Like, no.
Well, see, and
Yeah,
that's how
and
I
then-
feel about Ifem's relationships too, because she clearly, I mean, the reason she fell out of contact with Obinze is really sad. I mean, without
Yeah.
being on our mental health episode for sure,
Yeah.
but at the same time, they both clearly never stopped loving each other. Should they have? Maybe, because I mean, 15 years apart's a lot. And did they? I mean, they knew each other, but they didn't know the new.
Like they even talk about it later, how like, wow, you being in a different kind, you're kind of changed, but I like it. I feel like with both of them, they view like it's inevitable to talk, but like sex in a different way.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
she clearly distinguishes it like from like relationships.
It's an
and
out
sex.
of body. Yeah. It's a
Yeah.
different
Like
thing
it's
for
just
her.
like it's kind of like not the Greeks, kind of like the Greeks. So,
Yeah.
have you
Greeks were
all read like
relatively,
Lady
like-
Midnight? Have you
Yeah.
all read Lady Midnight?
Yeah.
Okay, well,
No, you haven't really.
this isn't that spoiler. There's a character. It's Kieran.
I've had plenty of spoilers.
Kieran, he has this conversation with Mark, one of the characters. Miss Anderson's read Lady Midnight, I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so,
She was gonna read
they
that
have this
number.
conversation of like, I don't care who you sleep with, but your love is what I need. And I feel like that's kind of how she views it. Like, to her, sex is a physical thing for enjoyment.
Right.
But love is a different thing. And I think when she, how would you classify it? It wasn't really a rape, but it was kind of.
It was she.
In
A
sex,
mental
she didn't really
debilitation
wanna-
for her.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
a point. It was a low point for her.
Yeah,
Where
well,
she was
because
willing to
she
kind of sell
allowed
herself.
it to happen because I feel
It was
like
consensual.
it was
Yeah.
consensual because she realized what he wanted, but at the same time, once they didn't even
She
have
want-
sex, but once the deed was done, she felt gross.
It was
Yeah.
her
I
low
understand.
point. Yeah, it was
I
a low
couldn't
point for her.
imagine.
After that low point, I think it was really weird because she saw the lines kind of get blurred. She felt disgusting about
I
herself.
feel like it kind of ruined it for her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it felt like a betrayal of Obinze when it was something they kind of shared.
Yeah.
And then she didn't want to tell him.
Because her and Obinze only had sex once before she left, right?
I thought it was a couple.
Yeah.
Well, it was. They only explicitly said once. I failed.
It was
yeah,
described
it was
once, but I'm pretty sure it was a couple times
Yeah,
because
described
she says like, because when she's talking about why she calls him ceiling, she
Yeah.
says every time we used to have sex, I could
Oh,
never see
okay.
the word
Well,
ceiling.
Yeah. Okay. You're
So
right.
I think it hints that there was more, but that was like the first, because what was it?
It was her
Appendix.
appendix. That's so funny.
That was
Yeah.
the funny part, where it's like, I'm pregnant, oh my god, I'm pregnant right here. Like,
I'm pregnant right here. I've had like my appendix has gotten inflamed, and like if that's something like pregnancy, like that's.
She was really neurotic. Like, I mean, it's like one of those hypochondriac tendencies of like everyone's telling me about pregnancy. Oh my god, I did the first time I've had sex.
His mother was cracking me up.
Yeah.
He was so uncomfortable, and she was like, "You have to tell me."
I totally stood
And
by
then
her.
I was,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know when she sat him down and was like, "Listen, it's on both of you, but you're the one who has to carry the baby."
Like, you're the one
pregnant."
who's gonna get screwed over.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so you carry the condoms and you carry the condoms and you'll be fine. But
I love that she like told her that.
I know.
I definitely like it. Probably was embarrassing, and we really felt that embarrassment through the writing.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. She the author did a really good job of like transferring kind of Ismael's feelings, and I feel like this book really hit hard on describing the feelings rather than the other stuff.
Right.
the
Oh, for
setting.
some reason, I remember specifically when they were riding in the car after her appendix ruptured.
Yeah.
And they were talking, and his mother was like, "Okay, what happened?" She was like, "We only had sex once," and then he tensed. For some reason, I remember that specific sentence because I thought it was done so well.
Yeah.
And because she was like, he completely just
Froze.
Yeah. Because that's his mom, and then it was I just thought it was really good writing, but that has nothing to do with what we're talking about. So my bad.
We have gone a bit off topic.
Yeah.
But basically,
like
the
the
thing
best
is, like, when they immigrated, they both immigrated for the wrong reasons. He
Yeah.
immigrated because he had this glossy, shiny version of American. When he couldn't get there, he was like,
Yeah, because
England would be a
he-
cheap copy
Yeah.
to get me to where I will be.
Yeah.
And she immigrated for her boyfriend. She thought I went back and read it. I did not see any, like, true, like, feel, like, because I talked to my parents about it. Like, they wanted to have, like, a good life. They had dreams in America. But, like, I never saw any of that
She
in her.
didn't.
She
Yeah,
wanted to
yeah.
go because she just wanted
Oh, Ben
kind
was
of
just
be a
like, you should
pleaser.
try, and she was like, okay,
Like
yeah.
a people pleaser.
Yeah, my mom
Yeah,
she came to America because she met my dad, and then they went to college there. But she never really kind of felt that anywhere was her home. Like she just felt like with the people, she was always at home with the people she loved.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And, like, I think
That's
that's what
sweet.
Ifamalu
Yeah.
assumed would happen. But it was so different because she didn't have the one person she really would have felt like.
And I feel like that's honestly why, I mean, of course the culture shock is real regardless of your circumstance, but I think that's why she had such a hard time adjusting in a different way. Like, everyone has a hard time adjusting, changing their everything, right? But she was just unprepared for everything.
'Cause she
wasn't
had
expecting
all
to
of
think
it.
alone.
She thought the world would morph to her
Yeah.
instead of her
And
having
also,
to.
she put so much hope, and her dreams were built around the fact that she would be with someone else.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's much easier to cope with. Because, like, when she came to America, she stayed with Auntie Uju and Dyke, and they'd been there a while, and it felt like kind of immediately going somewhere with you being the new one. It was described like she saw the kind of hope out of Auntie Uju's eyes because she was going through a rough time. So, I mean, it was really hard for her. But I liked seeing her kind of grow and adjust to America. Because I feel like everything she does, all but the, like, horrible, selfish, manipulative stuff, but, like, her, like, experiences and some of the decisions, I kind of, like, was like, yeah, I'd do that. Like, I enjoyed how she was trying new things. Like, joining the clubs, even though some of them might not have been good for her. Going out, getting, like, a job, like, not really... Because I remember, like, at the start of the book, she was like, I need to have the best type of job.
Right.
And then she was just like, I need any job. And it was really, like, that desperation that kicked off her thing. And her true point of adjustment was after.
Yeah.
She realized that I cannot expect everything to be perfect, because that is not what you have to do in America.
And then when she kind of grew out of that kind of like self-realization, that was kind of like a true kind of raw version of herself. And then she grew out of that, and then she just kind of returned back to her normal self, which I don't know if that's like a reverse character arc.
She
I'm like-
thought she would have a different arc than she did. I think she would have, like,
Well, I think what she was honestly truly happy with her babysitting job for the most part. I feel like honestly in the book that was where she was most self-satisfied.
I wish for herself she would have stuck with the baby. I wish Kirby.
But she likes children. Like, you see that. She loves Dyke. She wanted to connect with Morgan. It was Morgan, right?
Morgan,
Morgan
yeah.
and Taylor was fine. But she wants...
That's why I feel like it was weird for us for when, like, Opensay's daughter. She was
Yeah.
not into it.
She just wasn't concerned. But
It's
that makes
because
sense.
she
Had
tied
nothing
it
to do with
so
her.
much to his marriage.
Yeah.
Like, now I feel like her relationship with that daughter would be kind of weird and awkward. Because
Yeah.
it would be like, I really didn't
Like,
care
that's
that
the
much
reason
about
your
you.
parents... Yeah. I mean, and to the
You could have been
before
the reason
kid,
why
yeah.
Opensay didn't come to love me. That's like a thing. I feel like she prioritizes herself a little more than everyone else.
Herself and Obinsay. Because she thinks their relationship is like the most not necessarily godly, but on the most pedestal, like,
Because
this
they were
is what
young
you should
love.
strive
Yes.
for, the high school love.
But
the,
I also feel like she doesn't put him up, she puts the love he gives her up. Because
That's
she
the
doesn't
idea.
really care about him. If he was like, if you take away their love, and like it's a weird thing. Like if you dissect the love he has for her, she
It's
does
different.
not treat him that way.
Yeah.
Like with like kind of flirting with other guys. She enjoys the love and affection he gives her, and I do believe their love is pretty true. But I think she cares less about how people talk, because she doesn't care about his marriage.
No.
She doesn't care about his daughter, even though those are pretty critical
That's a
parts of
direct
it.
degradation from him. Like, if
Yeah.
she loved him as much as she thought she did, honestly, in my head, that child, whether it was your child or not, that child directly
Yeah.
spawned from the person you
Mhm.
desperately want to
Yeah.
spend your
And I
life
feel
with.
like Opensay kind of feels like that if Mila isn't giving her like 100% in it, even though they do like actually love
But
each
he's
other.
such a pathetic character. He settles
But he's
for
so
it.
pathetic. Like he defends it, and he's like, in that like scene, there was like, it's not about the sex. It's I swear it's not about the sex.
And then they
but-
proceed to
Right,
have
well,
sex.
Yeah,
and
you know.
and she was so focused on just the sex part too. Honestly, I feel like that's really what
She enjoys
missed
the
Yes.
pleasure of things.
Yeah.
She's
Right.
such a glutton for pleasure.
Yeah.
Like she loves the affection and attention people give her, but when it comes to the nitty gritty, that's also why I feel like her relationship with Blaine did not pan out. Blaine was not that great a person,
No, he wasn't.
but also
His
like
sister.
His sister's a piece of
yeah,
work.
but also a lot of
His
their
ass.
relationship
As she was
was
called.
like them being a couple, like being two working units, because I think they both kind of assumed. At least Blaine, I know, assumed like he would marry her.
Yeah.
And we really see her being unhappy because I don't think we get any mention of sex from Blaine except the one time after Obama got elected.
They mentioned
The
it
one-
at the beginning of the
yeah.
relationship and
Yeah.
then nothing, and then they're like, Obama was fine, and then they had.
And it's
yeah.
sad that like
Yeah.
it was described so brightly for her
Mhm.
because she's such a glutton for pleasure.
Right. Well, see, and I think especially after she moves back to Nigeria, I think she has this Americanized idea of what a relationship should be. Because I mean, here, I mean, clearly, I mean, between everybody's religious and everything values, but there's a lot of premarital sex. There's a lot of hookups. There's a lot of emphasis
A
put
physical.
on. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's
A
a very
physical.
physical thing that I mean.
There's a
we
physical
focus-
aspect to it
Yeah.
where it's kind of it's a very applauded, not applauded aspect, but it's important.
Like,
Like,
yeah.
when you
like
hold
if you think
hands,
about it, how did Kim
kiss.
Kardashian get famous?
Yeah.
And there's
Yeah.
a lot of stuff like that. It's so ingrained within our culture, especially with Hollywood and
Like
everything
sex
like that.
appeal is a
Yeah,
big
it's a
thing.
huge thing. And when she moved back, you really see that because in Nigeria, when she was there before she immigrated to America, she didn't really care. They
I
were,
feel like
they were
they-
together for years before they actually had sex. But it was just another thing at that point. That was just another part of their relationship. But when she moved back, it was all like, you know, I like you, but
That was the
Yep.
thing. I feel like she kind of had the tendency of really enjoying physical things.
yeah.
But like when she went to but in Nigeria it's more like subdued. So when she like immigrated to America, it was very much so like, wow, everyone here's like me. So it was really like a place where she could blossom, if you use the word. Like her like interest for it kind of grew. It's like with like, how do I say it?
Like when she was experimenting with the one dude when she was dating Kurt and hooked up with the one
Rob.
gross guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was described as gross.
He
I'm
was.
like,
It's just I'm remembering the scene.
Yeah.
Wait, I was just curious.
Ugh.
She's so annoying. We just totally got off topic.
Do you guys have any stories from your parents that you've heard? Because I don't know.
Oh.
about immigration?
Yeah, my parents have never directly dealt with it.
So, my mother, she had to take the GERD.
GED?
No, she already had a college.
GRD.
GRD. Yeah. GRD, it's a test you have to get to go to college in America.
Oh, my parents didn't go to college here.
Yeah.
So I mean, they just
Anyway.
Anyway, go on.
So I know two people that have taken the GRD, and both of them have said that it's the dumbest test ever. Mainly because they test you over English words that are words we've like never used before. Like one of my mom's questions was about what is a mechanical part of an airplane. Like you know you know what just a quick survey. Does anyone know what the flaps of the wing that pull up when the plane lands is called?
I don't know what they're called. I know what you're
I know
talking
what
about.
they're called.
I don't know
Yeah,
what you're talking
yeah.
about, the little
But does
things.
anyone know what like the actual name for it?
No.
Yeah, no, yeah. See, 3 natural-born Americans. They don't. I don't have a clue what the heck it is called.
My sister would know, but she's like a stupid plane.
She's an
aerospace engineer.
Yeah, you know, that's the exception.
That's
Like,
nice.
and she had to like learn that type of crap, even though she's like never used it since. But it's like a story to tell, and I think that's like. We put immigrants here through their paces, even though they make up our culture.
The immigration process is like
The
hell.
path to get citizenship is
Yeah,
ridiculous.
it's. My mom was like, I don't think I'm going to get citizenship, and then like she got citizenship like 4 years later.
In the test, like, if you ask people,
Crazy.
in
No
the
one
US,
knows.
no one knows, like, over
And then
no
like
after
people
that
who were
stuff.
like, we like I remember it was like a new like test Trump was putting out, and then someone went and asked a bunch of like Trump supporters, and it was like, do you think a woman has the ability to be a president? And a woman was like, I think a woman belongs in the home, and he's like, well, you would have gotten that wrong. Do you think all religions should be respected? And someone was like, yeah, and he's like, even Islam? And he was like, maybe not. And it's like, that's a wrong answer. So it's
Yeah.
like we have so many questions that are so stupid and overly like
Yeah, and then there was this like not a study but like an interview about people taking the like not the GRD but the actual like immigration test,
Yeah.
and like no one passed it like because it was just basic American civics and history. I passed it like when we took it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Fieldson.
because we
We
have
studied
a
that.
history class.
And also my mom
Yeah.
had to fly to Denmark to take the freaking GRD. It wasn't even served in her country. Like, and that, like, you know, that's not an easy thing to do. And that's also, that's after you get the papers to go and the certification. And people are like, they're flooding through our gates of immigration and drugs and stuff. Let's
You know
build a wall.
why?
Like, it's not gonna help.
And like some
You
people
know-
are coming here to escape the
Yeah, and
drug
like people will
cartels
say
and
like
the
taking,
abuse
like
and
seeking refuge.
war zones.
The
too.
generalizing
Yeah.
is dangerous for sure. I
Yeah.
don't think. I mean, because I'm sure there are people who come. I mean, the drug cartels. That's a big thing in Texas. But
That's
at the
You
same
never
time,
know
No.
who
you can't
is here for that
generalize all
reason.
immigrants through
Yeah.
a specific
Yeah.
group of people, and half of them don't have a choice.
Yeah, you know, they're probably gonna get murdered by gangs or something. And then it's like, we seek asylum, and people are like, that's illegal. It's not
Yeah.
illegal. That's
Hands,
what the Constitution.
big point. If you take nothing else from this video, seeking asylum is legal. Yeah. So
Seeking asylum is legal. Like,
Yeah.
print that on a
The
t-shirt.
people that are doing that, they don't know like for sure what these people are coming from.
exactly.
And
It's
People
very
lie.
ignorant.
people lie all the time.
I mean, and no system is foolproof. I mean, there's no
Exactly.
right answer, but at the same
Yeah.
time, I don't think we should be closing.
Yeah, there
Our-
was a study
Because
that
that's
said,
what
like,
that's what America. Like, that's the
Immigrants.
backbone.
We're
of
all
America.
freaking
We're all
immigrants.
immigrants.
Yeah.
Unless you are 100% Native American, you are an
Wow.
immigrant.
And even
At
then
some
you,
point.
and even then you
in the
still
line.
get like discriminated against, and you don't get treated like this is your
There
home.
is
Like
no
white people
way
just
to
came
win.
and ran you over. Like,
Yeah, it's.
I
That's all it's accurate.
Yeah,
My
I mean,
parents didn't have any like I mean, my parents I feel like had a really easy like switch because my dad got citizenship for like postdoc for studying, so he immediately so he didn't have to go through the whole like college thing.
Okay.
And then they also they lived in Ann Arbor, Michigan, which was really accepting
Mhm.
a community. And then my mom, so I mean, like they had a pretty easy like thing.
That's good.
So I mean, that's why it's so like whenever I talk to them, like, do you have any sort? They're like, we had a pretty easy thing. And I'm like, "Yeah." His only thing, which isn't even bad, is when he came to. So my dad had this weird thing where he moved from Ann Arbor before he married my mom. He moved from Ann Arbor to Ponca City to work for Conoco. And then Conoco like went bust or whatever
Yeah.
because he was
Yeah.
like a microbiologist testing the field. So he moved back to Michigan to finish more of like some stuff, and then he moved back to Stillwater
Yeah.
for some weird like it was Oklahoma. He didn't expect it, but when he got he lived in Michigan, a pretty big city. So he got to Ponca City, and the first thing he saw was a chicken crossing the road,
Yeah.
and he was like, "Where am I?
My mom-
What is this place?"
my mom had lived in like Connecticut for a couple years before moving to Stillwater. When she moved to Stillwater in like the 90s, that sign that says the Stillwater home of pork butt came in. She saw the sign and it was like, hey, can we turn around? You know, I think that weird crappy apartment we had was just perfectly fine. You know, I don't want to live here where they serve pork butt.
Yeah, well, I
I'm
don't
proud
have
of
any. My parents don't. I mean, clearly didn't deal with it, but I know predominant. The Klingerman side of my family for sure. They were a lot of the Irish immigrants, and yeah, there's a lot there. I'm gonna have to go home and research that. I forgot exactly.
So
Immigrants
research
have
a
always
little bit.
been treated pretty bad. Like when Italians were coming, that's why Columbus became a big deal because they were like, we need an Italian hero.
So people can stop hating the Italians.
But even though he was kind of.
Oh, not kind of. He
He was a jerk.
I'm trying to lower the blow, guys.
No, I'm sorry. I'm not
This wasn't a
No.
Yeah,
You jerk.
He was.
It was so easy.
He was a pompous ass, quite like
Yeah.
Blaine's sister.
Yeah. Wow.
I just hated her so much.
Sister.
I wanted something bad.
What was her name? Like, I literally
was her
blocked her
name?
name.
No, I
don't
feel like
even
I've
know,
talked about
like-
it. Clark Can. Con.
Yeah.
Sean.
Sean. Yeah, it was like
Sean.
S-H.
Jean.
S-H-A-N. Sean.
I thought there was another H somewhere, but
No, it's. I think it's S-H-A-N.
Yeah,
Because
you're
I looked it up
probably right,
last time and I was like, it's Sean.
Is it Sean?
oh,
or
she was
Sean?
the worst.
Like
Like Sean.
Yeah, it'd be Sean.
Oh.
I think that was
Yeah.
right.
for those of you who can't, I think they can see. It's a whiteboard.
They probably can't see it.
No,
Oh, well, I just wrote the spelling.
Yeah.
It's S-H-A-N. So I think it's Sean.
I think it would be Sean.
Well,
Last time we wrote something up there was
I don't
shots.
Shots.
What?
What?
The last time we came, like when it was for a different thing,
Okay, I was like, we didn't do that
I
last time.
don't even remember. We had this weird. We had that like one song that's like shots, like it's stuck in our head. So
Oh, it was the, yeah.
everybody.
Oh, I was thinking of a different song that says shots. You know, the one from like 6th grade where it's the,
Yeah.
you know what I'm talking about? Oh, I'm
Yes.
confused.
What?
I do.
Yeah. Because I just have a vivid
But
image of some kid in my 6th hour with a bottle, like a water bottle cap with the water from the.
shot.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
shot. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember what the song was called.
That just reminds me of the Vine. Like, you know the mouthwash
Oh
one?
yeah, that's a song.
Yeah, I know it's
It's-
that's not the song I'm talking about though. There's another song.
Okay, so immigration.
We have not talked for 30 minutes yet, just for the record.
Okay.
What else?
Alrighty.
Do you think
Well, let's talk about the current issues.
Current
with
issues?
immigration? See, like I feel like people don't understand what they're doing. Like I remember there's a video. It was like an Adam Ruins Everything, where he's talking about like with Mexican immigrants. The reason we kind of had more of a flood is because when we increased border security, people are gonna be like, why should I just go back? Like I'm just gonna stay. Because when you had an easy flow through, people would be like, okay, I'll get work, I'll go back. Like,
Yeah.
but when you tighten it down, people are like, I'm just not gonna go back.
Let me just stay here, and then I'm gonna overstay my visa, and then I'll get arrested and like deported.
Yeah.
And like that, and it's kind of sad because people who do get deported, they've like built up a life here. Like, freaking what is 21 the rapper?
21 Savage.
21
Yeah,
Savage.
he's getting deported.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I made a
the
joke.
irony.
I made a joke with my sister once, like a rapper called 21 Cabbage.
Well, see, and I think our policies should probably be updated, but I don't think
It should.
they don't need to be.
Not in the way they're doing it. Like
No,
they're doing it
they're
like
doing it
they're kind
wrong.
of making not a military state, but they're like the more borders I put up, the more tighter it'll be. That's not how you work.
see,
You have to
this
get
whole
to like
yeah,
the root of the problem.
idea that they're stealing your jobs. Most immigrants, from what I can tell, when they get here, they're like, I will take any job.
They're
I
taking
can
the
like-
job
it's
people
like
deem
They
bad.
want money.
Yeah.
Like the
Yeah.
modern society, like we're like, oh, construction workers, not that great a job, even though it's a respectable job. But like they're taking jobs,
Janitors.
jobs
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
you,
Jobs that
that
you don't
society
want.
itself thinks
Doesn't
are the
want.
dregs of humanity.
Yeah, and then like people complain about that. It's like, well, no, but if you didn't have janitors or immigrants or anything like that, then you would just have a really messy office, and then you wouldn't have like a cashier at Walmart or something.
Immigrants, we
Well,
get
if
the
you
job done.
Yeah.
And it's like, then you complain about like this dude who has like a medical degree from like
Who got citizen? It's like
who
it's
got
used.
citizenship, then moved to America, and then got like a job at a hospital, and then you who
It's-
has like a GED, like is like he stole my job.
Yeah,
like,
it's
you're never in
used
college.
like as
Yeah.
like racism. It's so
Yeah.
overused when it's not really. He did it the right way, and people are like,
Mm-hmm.
I want them to do it the right way. But no, the people who are complaining are the people who just want no immigrants, even though that's the stupidest
Right,
concept
well,
ever.
if we
had
It's
no
a racist
immigrants, we
thing.
wouldn't be
It's
here.
not that
Yeah.
they don't want
Yeah.
immigrants. It's that they don't want people of color coming.
Well,
Yeah.
see, the thing is the system sets it up for everyone to fail because they make citizenship so hard to attain, but they want to block everyone out because the people who really want to be here, a wall's not going to stop them at the same time. You can go around the wall. Go on, like there's so many
And then
other
I
options.
could go by boat.
you
Plane.
could just go and throw the drugs over the wall. I know Tom Brady's looking for some work, so. That's not my joke. That's not my joke. That's SNL's joke.
Someone's been
Yeah.
salty.
Yeah, but it's if they're gonna tighten controls, they have to make citizenship easier to attain. They have to make it easier to get here. They can't tighten up everything and make it physically impossible for 98% of people to move into it. Like it just it sets with me back.
It-
I'm not gonna
The system is kind of pitted people who are coming to America to get a better life.
Like if you're not here, you're.
Like if you're someone who's really overprivileged and you're just coming here to come here, like it works with you. But if you're someone who literally needs to get into this country for your safety, it's totally against you.
Yeah. Like, it's so stupid. Like, why are we punishing people that are gonna get like murdered or something by not, letting them come to the country?
But we're
and
like
get a
helping
job
people
and-
who are just here because like margaritas are good in America. I don't know, that was a stupid thing.
Right. Well, see, and but if you don't want, the argument I don't understand is if you don't want them here, why aren't we using our privilege as the United States to help some of these places that need the help? Just if you want people to stop coming, make them like
There was literally a study that came out that all the billionaires in the world, in America itself, could have fixed like all the like who could have ended poverty in every single country and still have millions of dollars left over to like fund research. And
So
like
according
no
to
one
we're
would
just
have
selfish.
something to use with $1 billion. Like
Yeah. According to you, Kasa's fun fact of the video, according to the UN, a study just confirmed that if all the countries in the world that are developed and have extra funds in their budget spent 0.7% to help developing countries, we would help like stop poverty, world hunger, and the AIDS crisis and all the other crap. And you know what the US spends instead of the 0.7 of our budget? Yes, the zero, not even 1% of our budget. We spend 0.6%. We don't even make the freaking minimum that the UN wants us to spend.
Wow.
And everyone's like, we need to cut it more. It's like, we're already an asshole. Like, just cutting even
I
more.
get it. We
That's
have
really
national
hard.
debt, but that debt's there because of
and no one's doing anything about
other
it.
things.
The people in positions of leadership they're talking about things that no one needs to talk about. Like they're determining what type of steak is our steak type right now instead of looking at Oklahoma's education crisis or the prison problem. They're not looking at
God.
things about value. They're just avoiding the problems because nobody is taking the initiative to solve anything that's wrong.
and it's really
We
not
don't
hard.
want to admit that there are problems.
And most
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
the uncomfortable. People don't want to talk about the uncomfortable situations. We elected you to talk about these uncomfortable
Exactly. And
situations.
see, and politically, I'm going to have a hard time choosing when I get to the point where I have to pick a Democrat or Republican. Because honestly, if anything, I am a moderate. I do not think an extreme decision on either side is ever going to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to, in order to get a viable solution, you have to compromise, and no one here understands that sometimes you have
I feel
to
like
make citizenship easier, and
And
then
the
you don't
people that
necessarily need the wall, but you
usually
could
get
tighten border control.
in
Like,
those
it's just-
positions,
yeah.
like the people that are in those positions, they don't compromise, and then the people that would like to be in that, they never get to, so they don't.
That's my like. See,
this
I
is-
very much hate like partisan electing someone just because it's your party.
Just
That's why
because
recent,
or
like
Democrat, and
recent
not
governor
because.
election, we all we wanted people to be informed because our current governor does not care about education at all, but he was elected a lot because people just wanted
didn't
a
want to
Republican.
vote Democrat.
Like Mr.
And
Croft told us that story on how his brother voted for, what was it? It was like Hillary Clinton because he wanted Ted Cruz to be elected. It's that you do such drastic, stupid stuff.
Yeah.
Just
And-
so the one person, despite everything, people are so dependent on like the party. The party's everything. I swear if we took away parties, so many people's
Yeah,
Well,
like,
see,
yeah.
and if you look back at history, before they all fell into it, the founding fathers specifically did not want parties.
for the
Yeah.
specific reason that it would
It's
turn people against each
toxic.
other.
Yeah, it's a bad
It
system.
integrates this idea of like
It's
I
even
gotta
more
belong
separate
to the
to
team.
follow it.
Like it's
Yeah.
loyalty.
And you
Like-
get this whole bystander mentality as you watch your party, even if you don't necessarily agree with what they're doing. You're like, I have to. It's my party. That's what
John
I
said,
don't
it's
vote
like
for.
in-
As a, yeah.
In a lot of countries, there's a whole bunch of parties. Like, there's the Green Party, there's the Fascist Party, there's a Communist Party.
But it doesn't
Like,
matter.
there's
I mean, all that
extremes on
Germany
every side and
1920s.
middles on every side. And so, and then here we only have, like, right and left.
And
That's
nobody-
it, no
yeah,
in between.
And there is in between, but nobody,
There is,
like,
but
no
no-
independent
There is no
one's gonna choose
candidate
the
will ever
in-between.
make it to the final elections. It's
no
never
one's
gonna
gonna choose
happen.
the in-between. That was stupid. Like,
Yeah, because it's like you need both sides. That's why John McCain was like booed when he voted against that one Republican proposal, and people like trashed him. But I respected it not just because I'm a Democrat, but because like he did what he believed
Yeah.
in.
Well, see, and I
May he
just,
rest in peace.
it goes all the way back to like pre-K, because we are legitimately taught one, the golden rule immediately,
Yeah.
and two,
Yes.
sharing is caring. You have to share your perspective. You have to share everybody else. Like
And you also have to
the
listen.
perfect baby in between thoughts. Okay?
But that does
Yeah.
not exist.
You want a mixed pot baby.
And you-
But
But people, like, on both sides, I think both people have to, like, listen to the other sides. They don't have to agree with it, they just have to
Acknowledge.
acknowledge that it exists and, like, listen to it. And if you just have two people that are, if both sides are just covering their ears, you know, it's like...
And both sides contradict themselves, like with the abortion debate. Because if you think about it this way, because a lot of Democrats are like, it's all good, it's fine. We need the option. Republicans, it just goes back and forth because
And
if you
we
kill a
generalize
baby,
everyone. Like, where you're
Yeah.
like, oh, you're a Republican. Like, you don't care about women's health. Oh, you're a Democrat.
Right.
Baby killer. It's
Exactly.
like, we should, like, parties are so toxic to people.
So
Because
dumb.
it takes
Yeah.
away, like,
It strips
you
someone
really,
of
like,
their
that's why I
humanity.
hate straight voting. Because it makes someone,
yeah.
like, I remember with the governor election, I sat my parents down and I was like, you're going to read over every single candidate until you choose who fits your thing best. We went over the example ballot because I wanted to make sure, because, like, I definitely agree the voting age should maybe be lowered just a little, just because, like,
Because I'm not going to be able to vote till very, very later.
like, it's
Yeah.
not even just lowered, but, like, take into account, like, teenagers, we're not emotional, hormonal messes. We have opinions.
I mean, we are, but we
We
have
are.
opinions.
We are, but
We're
like,
not
we're
just
not as
that.
bad as the old white people, you know?
Right, well, see, and it's just, I hope in our lifetime that we actually see someone who's independent make it into office.
I would
Yeah,
love
I
that.
yeah.
think that would clean
Yeah,
a lot
yeah.
of things up.
It would stop, like, the whole, like, oh, he's just doing this because he's loyal to his
Would
party.
people
Yeah.
be pissed?
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
People are gonna
But-
hate it, but
Yeah.
I think it would clean up. I mean, because
It would give
eventually
these 4
our
years
debt's gonna
of
eat us
no
if no one
blame.
does anything
Yeah.
about it.
And
We need to agree with
like the news outlets would freak out because if an independent person made it, they would be like, well, I can't blame on the Democrats or Republicans now.
Like, there's
what
no
are we
giving.
supposed to do?
We
And
love
there's-
giving everyone blame.
And there's, like,
when you
no
want to shift
middle.
blame, it is like our thing. We love being like, this is their fault. No, this is your fault. But like, in reality, who cares whose fault it is? Address it. So if you had an independent person, you can just say like, oh, it's all Tim's family's fault. Like, Tim is just here because Tim wants to make the world a better place.
Right,
Yeah,
it's his
leave
father's
Tim alone.
fault who was
Yeah.
Republican and his mother was a Democrat.
Yeah, like,
they
real
like,
dead.
they
Yeah.
made this child. Like, it's
Who cares?
Well, see, and I just hate
No.
specifically with the immigration issue that we're turning our, I mean, because honestly one person can't fix the whole issue, but a lot of us are turning our backs on the foundation of our country. Like, that was,
Alexander
most of us
Hamilton was an
didn't
immigrant.
start here.
Yeah.
I definitely didn't.
Same.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think I'm Native American. I mean, I'm sure I am at some point down the line.
There's something
Because,
there.
you know,
Me.
from Orlando. So,
Yeah, that's
No.
why.
it's probably, I
Little bit
forgot a
for
little
me.
bit in me, but other than that, I didn't start here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I
that doesn't
know.
take away your right to be here. Or your
Yeah.
right to have a,
Exactly.
like, your
It's just land.
your voice.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we're so like obsessed with this idea of like you immigrated here, you're like however far back is how much your
How much
like,
your right
voice,
to be here is.
your right to be here. Like just because and then people will say stupid stuff like they'll lie and kind of say like if you come the legal way you are perfect.
You'll be supported
But in
by all of
reality,
us.
you won't. You will, like how
You'll
like so
struggle.
many
Yeah.
people are discriminated against because they're like, oh, you're the first person in your family to move here.
Or if you have an
Sorry.
accent, that's not
Yeah.
My
American.
mom
Yeah.
always gets asked, like, every single time she, like, talks to someone, like, at a drive-thru or whatever, she's always like, oh, where are you from? And she was like, I'm from here. And they're like, no, like, where are you from?
Yeah, that's the stupidest question ever. Like whenever so like, where are you from? Like
Yeah.
Stillwater?
Stillwater,
here.
Oklahoma.
But where are
How
you
does- where are you
from?
Right?
Like,
Like,
what
when
was
you
your-
hear that,
what was your
where are you
home country?
from?
I'm like,
And then, okay,
here.
I don't think I have an accent.
You don't. You have
I
a
know.
Brooklyn accent.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're not never been. to
I
Brooklyn.
go down to the office sometimes, not because I'm in trouble, because I'm a good kid.
Huh?
Well, I mean,
joke.
What about
we
what
get a lot
was
of
it?
chocolate
Truancy?
back.
You got
Oh,
charged.
Oh yeah, I got
for
charged for truancy last year. That's another story. But so one of the office ladies, I was coming to get my pass, and she was like, "So where's your mom?" I'm like, "Oh, she's from here." And she's like, "Oh, so then where are you from?" I'm like, "I'm from here." She's like, No. Where are you from?" And I'm like, "I'm from Stillwater." She's like, "No, but you have like an accent. So like, where are you from?" I'm like, "I'm from Brooklyn." And she's like, "Oh, that's so cool. What part?" I'm like,
Brooklyn is a place.
Yeah, I know.
Brooklyn and Queens are two different
I know.
places.
I was like, time to mess with this lady. So I was like, Queens. She's like, oh my God, my sister-in-law lives in Queens, and I'm like,
So how do you not know that Brooklyn and Queens are two?
And I'm like, sure.
It's so annoying though. Like, cause people, okay, my parents, I don't think they have a big accent. Honestly, they really do not compare to other people. But people are always just like, wow, I can't understand his accent. I was like, really? He's been here for like what, 40 years?
Yeah, same.
I think there's just like a weird like musical lilt to there.
Yeah.
But I think I can understand them. I mean, it's hard. My dad. The only problem is my dad says weird stuff. He once was meant to say butterfly gardens, and he said Butterfield. So I mean, I get that. But he just likes to shorten words and say like you know.
Yeah. And I feel like I've kind of become like tone deaf to accents because like when people were like, oh, that lady had like a really thick accent, I'm like, oh.
Yeah. You get what you're hearing because you hear.
Yeah, and I feel like you kind of like have that.
I'm more
too.
just
hard
like
to
kind of
understand.
deaf.
Yeah, I'm like a little like I don't. It's not like they're not there anymore. It's just like I'm so like used to hearing it because like, you're surrounded by
so many different tones of voices
that
when someone else, your ears just automatically adjust. My only problem is I don't hear things very well.
You're also very, very deaf. I watched a Game Theory episode with her with headphones, and I was just like,
I turned it all the way up.
yeah, like she turned my computer all the way up. She turned like the YouTube all the way up, like the YouTube.
The YouTube.
I sound like my theater teacher. She thinks Netflix is a TV show. Not kidding.
My cello teacher doesn't know how that YouTube existed.
In conclusion, what is our final thing about
Immigration.
America?
Don't be a jerk. Everyone's value is
I feel
right
like that's
here.
a common thing through all the
Don't be a
episodes.
jerk.
Don't be a
That's
jerk.
it. Just be accepting. Hear everyone's side of the
Compromise
story.
with people.
Yeah, listen to other people,
good.
and then you
Don't
might agree with
compromise
it. You can see, but
Yeah, you have to hold your ground for some things.
Yeah.
You need to, there's some compromise required.
Don't
Yeah.
think your worth is better than anyone else.
Yeah.
Because if they came here legally, and even if they came illegally, listen to their story. Sure, they're illegally here, but still, like, you know.
Don't
So were you.
Don't report the
So were
stories.
you.
That's
400 years ago.
Yes, you need to take some, like, just check yourself.
check yourself.
Check your prejudices.
Check yourself.
Check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Great.
All right, and if them immigrated for the wrong reasons, but you know,
Open that. I think they both
Open
did.
call home,
They
the
kind of
whole
took.
thing.
That's why I
Open
think it
Sesame was a
happened.
cheap
That the
America.
ending happened in Nigeria when they both filmed.
yep, okay, home can be anywhere. All right.
Yep.
Song.
Franya, Franya, Fran, Franya, Franya, Fran, Fran, Fran. Sweet.